Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Allow me to introduce myself. My name is Arvin Nugroho. I'm from the study program Educational Research and Evaluation. I will present the result of my research entitled Development of Performance Assessment Instrument Singing Materials for Junior High School Students in Sambas, the street based on Android. Education is a process of training children's behavior to become adult humans who are able to live independently and as a member of society in the natural environment where the individual is located. Strategies improving reliable and quality human resources. Indonesia's law ranking in the field of education is the responsibility of all relevant parties to form links, both central and local education stakeholders. The underlying policy instruments made by the government and educational goals formed by education units, including school supervisor as a component of quality assurance education. Performance assessment instrument is an activity that aims to develop existing assessment instruments to make them more practical. Instruments have a very important role in determining the quality of information in an assessment that serves to reveal facts into data. If the quality of the tool used to code the data obtained are in accordance with actual events. Assessment instrument development activities have a very important and beneficial role for school, teacher, and student. Assessment serves to determine the assessment of student learning outcomes. Assessment can improve student learning abilities. The assessment is carried out through three approaches, namely the final assessment of learning assessment, and assessment as learning during the learning process and is used as a basis for improving the teaching and learning process. The development of performance assessment instrument is a learning program that the conducting of the program needs to be evaluated of its implementation. The achievement of the aim and objectives of learning activities so that educators can determine good teaching strategies to improve the quality of education through an assessment system. As one of the effort to improve the learning outcome of the art music, a valid and reliable performance appraisal model is needed. The result of interview and observation conducted in three schools showed that the instrument used by teachers to evaluate student learning outcomes in singing folk song were not equipped with assessment guidelines and did not have an assessment manual because teachers judged students only by saying student singing. So that is assessing teacher not yet on target. Performance assessment is an assessment based on observation of student activities as they occur. Evaluation performance is language learning con used when the teacher went to evaluate the performance of students in terms of the ability to sing folk songs. The objectives of the research on the development of a standard instrument for assessing performance in singing folk song with the aid of an Android are: 1. Describe the need for Android-assisted performance assessment for singing folk songs. 2. Analysis design of developing standard instrument for performance assessment of singing folk song with the help of Android. 3. Testing the validity, reliability, and practicality of developing a standard instrument for assessing performance in singing folk song with help, the help on Android. 4. Produce application and feature manual containing the development of standard instrument for assessing performance in singing folk song with the help of Android. Methods based on the formulation of the problem, the type of research used is development research that aim to produce constrained product and testing product quality. The research products in Android application and a teacher manual containing standard instrument for the assessment of singing folk song with the help of Android. Research and development, namely the process used to develop and validate educational product. The development design model of Dick and Carey is the IDDA model, which has 5 stages, namely analysis, design, development or production, implementation or delivery, and evaluation. In the analysis consisting of need analysis and curriculum analysis, at the design stage, model design is carried out by underpinning the development process, namely determining instrument specification, writing instrument, and determining scores. And the development stage consists of a review of the instrument by expert, tested in the field in the form of analysis and revision. The implementation base is broad-scale testing and practical testing. The evaluation phase consists of sampling and refining the instrument. Sources of data obtained from observation, interview, expert validity, questionnaire, and documentation. Test the validity of the instrument used in this study using validation by expert judgment with a total of 4 validators. The validity of the content of the instrument based on the assessment of and expand on an item by using the icon fee formula. The assessment is carried on by giving a number between 1 to 4. The reliability test used in this study in the IECC inter-rater reliability test with 4 raters. The reliability between raters was then tested using the interclass correlation coefficient. The reliability analysis using SPA is 2-6. The practically test is correlated out with workshop activities. Practically testing through workshop activities is deemed necessary and representative to be used as an activity effort that provides a forum for teachers to understand the essence of how to determine performance assessment in accordance with predetermined stages. Result and discussion. Need analysis instrument for performance assessment of singing folk song with the help of Android. Need analysis was conducted by conducting interview with 3 teachers who teach art and cultural subject in 3 schools. The needs analysis is carried out using a practical model, namely interview with participants involved in development project. Data conclusion of performance assessment instrument and material contained in music learning courses in class 8 are applied in the file through interview with teacher. 3. There are several problems obtained from the identification of this potential problem, namely the school system still uses a simple assessment show that the practical value of student assessment is sometimes only in the form of report. Political facilities in the three schools are complete year out to carry out the singing learning process but are rarely used only when students are doing practical lesson. Assessment of profession in school is indeed less supportive to assess student ability to sing folk song. So an update is needed in this assessment of singing performance. At the needs analysis stage, information was obtained the ob- obtained list of experiences were performance assessment in the evaluation of the material for singing folk song. One of the obtained list experiences was in concluding assessment, teachers still did not understand the scoring guidelines in instruments that were not created so that the instrument used were difficult to use the component as it are also difficult to observe. So they tend to be ignore it and no use it based on result of interview and each teacher has the same priority on the assessment method and as summarized in table 1 as follow. The ratio from table 1 obtained from response of the teacher where interviewed can be concluded the teacher placed the assessment method for singing falls with the same priority, namely the written test and test performance test. Analysis of teacher need is assessing student performance is closely related to the obtained experience by teacher in the process of assessing student performance. The need for an assessment instrument arises from the fulfillment or refinement of the constraint experienced by teacher in assessing for the performance of singing student folk song. As it is now through discussion will the cultural art teacher the one of the obtained in spacing student ability to sing is because of the absence of instrument the relevant or standard of need by the teacher. The data obtained show that the teacher arranges agreed a test and a test before carrying out the assessment activities. Observation sheet, assessment rubric, and assessment procedures were not made because the assessment used by the teacher was adapted from description tests that already had an assessment tool in the form of assessment procedure. The result of the response of the teacher can be concluded that so far the mastery of teacher in mainly only and compiling grade and description test, which is because the understanding of the development of assessment rubric and assessment procedures has not been widely understood by teachers. Android is a standard instrument designed for singing regional and then performance assessment. As the instrument grades take uh, the racer her began to compass a grade based on basic competencies which were complete in accordance with the regulation of the Minister of Education and Culture. The design of the instrument can be studied with the preparation of instrument based on concepts and theories regarding the assessment of the performance of singing relevant folk song that the grid of instrument designed includes standard instrument for assessing the performance of singing folk song for students which are used by teacher to assess the result of student and performance and observation instrument by teacher that can be used as rater. The observation instrument grid contains three aspects in assessing the performance of singing folk song, namely master of song, mastery of character, and mastery of appearance. The grid for the observation instrument in the aspect column contains three aspects in assessing the performance of singing folk song. In the last column 3 is a description column, namely a description of the three criteria for student success in singing folk song. The grid of assessment instrument can be seen in table 2 as follows. In table 2, the instrument grid that has been complete, then the instrument grid is designed in the form of a standard instrument application product from of performance assessment of singing folk song with the help of Android, which can be operated on a mobile smartphone system using a Codular website. Codular is a website that provides tools to create an Android application with the concept of the drop block programming. Validity and practicality of the instrument. As expert was given a validation instrument containing indicator and assessment as well using a Likert scale of two uh, a like scale of 1, 2, 3, and 4 to determine the feasibility of the performance assessment instrument for singing folk song, which is very important for measuring student performance in singing folk song. Then proceed with input from its validator in the form of critiques and question for its statement item. Finally, each validator is expanded to provide a conclusion whether or not the regional singing performance assessment instrument is to be tested on students. If not, then proceed with revising the instrument according to input from the validator. The African fuel has a score, so it can be said the instrument used has a high validity. Accreditation is not valid if it reaches a score interval. The high gravity coefficient between raters can be interpreted the rating that has been created out by its rater inconsistent with one another. The gravity coefficient is not high or no, so there is inconsistency among raters. The level of agreement between the four rater can be explained by calculating the reliability coefficient between rater using the interclass correction coefficient. The result of the price analysis of a rater will for the rater this consistent is 0.937, which means it is a high level of stability. According to Erkunto, if the reliability coefficient lies between 0 18 to 1, it is included in the very high category. The final result of developing a standard instrument for performance assessment of singing folk song with the help of Android. The application of the standard instrument for evaluating the performance of singing folk song produced has passed the testing phase. both validity, reliability, and practical test. The application of the standard instrument for assessing the performance of singing folk songs that have been that have been developed includes one, the standard instrument for assessing the performance of singing folk song consistent of three aspects that already include authentic assessment. Two, the teacher handbook, which is used to assist teacher in preparing the guided book, and the use of the application. Three, an assessment application that contained ISET indicator and rubric from the standard instrument of assessment for singing folk song assisted by Android, and for techniques and step of instrument development in a nutshell. Conclusion: the ratio of the development of standard instrument for assessing performance in singing folk song with the help of Android that has been created out can be concluded as follows. Preliminary study obtained data that the process of implementing the assessment of the practice of singing folk song carried out by teachers still used no standard assessment instrument. The difference in indicator for the assessment of the practice of singing folk song for each teacher has a less effective impact on assessing the potential of students on the ratio of the ability to folk song to sing folk song. The sign of the instrument produces data from the result of data analysis in the form of performance assessment used by teacher, textbook, and the learning process carried out by teacher. And there is no standard performance assessment instrument to assess the performance of singing student. The ratio of the instrument design obtained the determinant of performance assessment instrument grades, observation sheets, and performance appraisal Android application singing folk song. The validation of the standard instrument for evaluating the performance of singing regional song was carried out through content validity and construct validity test. The result of the assessment obtained from the validation of expert stated that the performance assessment of singing regional song was feasible to be used as a form of assessment. Thank you.